if you like having bolsters or props of any kind, of blankets, I did not get my eye pillows out. I encourage it, especially for the remainder of the month. There's a lot of intensity, whether you tune in to the cosmic influence or not. If you tune into the news, you know there's a lot going on. And in that realm, we use a practice like yoga to attend to these layers of ourselves and honor them. I did just receive a text message from somebody that I admire deeply, and she shared an experience with me. And she said, your posts were spot on, and I encouraged her to read more of them, mainly because tuning into the cosmic play, the cosmic weather, is being aware. I'm aware that it's winter right now. I'm aware that there is a global pandemic. I am aware of the shambles of our government. I am aware that I am a mom who is home with 2 young kids that are transitioning from a reality that they barely knew and finding this new landscape with me. I am aware that a year ago, I was sitting in a space with 20 some odd people on a Thursday morning teaching in the practice of the ancients. Yoga has been around for millions of years. I am aware of my own traumas and my own triggers. I'm aware of the stress and strain that is being placed on so many people emotionally. I'm aware that the sun is conjunct Pluto right now, that we just went through a new moon. So it's just this big picture awareness that allows us to navigate with a connection to awaken more fully. I am aware that my obsession with the cosmos, the order, the beauty of the chaos may not be your obsession. So in all those things, I show up in my truth, I show up in my essence, I show up not ignoring the darkness, I show up honoring the fact that we are in a position in humanity where the karmic spew, which my meditation teacher Paul Muller Ortega would share, of the filth of humanity, the filth of our way that we engage here on planet Earth is caused by our own doings, and we are literally swimming through those waters of darkness. I'm also highly aware that we need to breathe so deeply we can feel it. And so in this idea of breathing so deep that you can feel yourself breathing is really essential right now. So we're in a transitory period from the cosmic weather. We are in this place where our ground, our foundation, our ability to respond to life, and we are in this invitation to lean into the higher perspective and the bigger picture, to not turn away and deny the hardships and the challenges, but rather actually sit with them. The biggest contemplation I've had in motherhood is, for the past 7 years, this journey into motherhood, is that it's incredibly sacred, that I chose to consciously step in this, to remain committed to my husband, and to withstand the challenges of being in a relationship, and to have darker layers of myself exposed, to bring on all the tools that I have embraced over the past 20 years, and to know that even all those tools are sometimes, the darkness is unbearable. It's intense. There's no answers. And so in this contemplation, what I've realized though, is that yoga asks us to get to the stillness. To me, the stillness is the void. It is the uncomfortable. And to lean into that discomfort, to sit in that void, and to not be pulled down by the heaviness that we call depression, to not feel the lethargy of the darkness and the sadness stop us from moving, but rather sit so long that the tears can come forward, that we can break ground in this filthy layer of heaviness. And I use filth because it's suffocating. It feels like it just sticks to us and we can't get rid of it. And it spins us and it pulls out of us, but then we can lean in and trust in that chaos. When we invite in that higher recognition, when we breathe so deeply we can feel it. That we feel access to the bigger connection, to the fact that we're not alone, to this ability to recognize our inherent worth, that we can rise again, that we are resilient. I have had survived death twice, I'll put it that way, since that seems to be the popular Netflix series and that people keep suggesting to me. And in those moments, I didn't have the experience of the light. I had the experience of the darkness, and it was beautiful, and it was serene, and I was happy there. But I couldn't actually sit with that energy of what the heaviness it would leave people behind, right? So in that land, we can sit so long. This is my kind of eternal quest of how do we bring forth the light? How do we communicate it? To breathe so deeply. And in that moment, it was my ability to articulate that I was not doing well, that the breath found me, because you do not take the breath. No offense to everybody who used the simple language of take a breath. We do not take a breath. We allow ourselves the capacity to breathe so deeply. We feel the sustenance of life permeate every cell of our being. And as we allow that permeation to feel, to breathe, to connect our awareness from our innermost self out to the periphery and beyond, because guess what? When you're breathing, if you sit in your house right now, no matter who's nearby or your neighbors or how much room you have, you are breathing that capacity to support the breath for others. So if we can breathe into the void or the stillness or the darkness, however you want to say it, and not deny, when you exhale out, there's this space of transition. This is the void of course moon, where there's no longer any aspects, but guess what? The breath comes back in and fills us up. So we will be breathing a lot today. We will be feeling that connection to respond, to the ability to lean into the breath, because if we can practice this on our mat, then we can practice to be more present to the collective transition we're in as humanity. And the more we do it, the more we connect to the light in ourselves. This is yoga. The more we connect to the light in ourselves, then we hold space and compassion, because that's what happens when you really become sensitive to the intensity of that void. And then we see the potential in ourselves, and we see the potential in one another. And we can actually feel the dissolve of all things and all experiences and rise again with this radical affirmation of our light. So let's begin. Sorry, yes, I'm a little full on. Here we go. Hands together, come seated, hips to the ground, spine long. Hold into the core. Feel that earth energy, that signature of your embodiment held. The hands can be in the way. I'm going to keep my hands at the center of my forehead. Keep your hands where they feel true to you. Maybe you're hugging yourself. Maybe you're grounding your hips. Just tune in. Be in dialogue with your breath. Communicate with that higher self. Breathe into your physical infrastructure. Inhale in. At the top of the inhale, pause and just find that you are so full. Oh, there's always room for more, and then exhale all the way out. Ground into your hips and into the earth. Next breath, inhale all the way in. Come on in, buddy. Inhale all the way in at your highest light. Can support you and ground you. And feel the enjoyment of life being with you, and you call on that highest spark of divine energy to take form in you. Exhale all the way out. And then inhale and come into your own heart center. With your whole heart, the essence of you, your entirety, and integrate the energy above, the energy below, into the truth of you, into that intention. And perhaps the intention is to just know that there is a horizon that is expansive, that in the void and in the challenge, that you can still find your way and more fully articulate and be able to welcome in the breath, that you can breathe so deeply you feel alive. Let your hands come out in front of your eyes. Let the palms open. Open your eyes, looking into the palms of your own two hands. And then I have to honor reality. Hey, Evan. Evan, it sounds like your class is still teaching right now.
They're still finishing up too.
So you're done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Evan, what's your break? When do you have to be back at school?
I don't know.
Okay, why don't you guys go, are you guys good sitting there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have companions today, because this is the extension of my truth. So from that seed, from that connection, we find the distraction that pulls us off our center. So we come back to our center. We come back to our heart, our mind, our earthliness. We're going to come lying down. And the reason for lying down is many. We want to feel the nervous system supported. The head comes down, the hip. So just tilt your pelvis back and forth so you can feel movement. And then breathe into that movement. Knees are bent, feet are on the ground, stretch the arms high. Big full breath in. Big full breath out. Slide the shoulder blades into the heart. Arms are overhead. You're going to push your feet into the earth. Inhale your hips up. Slide the shoulders in, throat opens, and then bring your elbows down by your sides. Feel the physical container. We're getting the hips above the heart above the head, so we can actually disrupt the natural flow intentionally. Full breath in, full breath out. And then I want you just to dip your hips from side to side to just feel that movement. Use your glutes to support you. Your feet are heavy. Don't get too crazy. Use your core. Notice how the breath gets restrained. And then ground into the earth. Inhale the hips higher. Open the throat. And then exhale. Lead with your inner thighs. Hips come to the ground. Hey, sweetie pies, you guys have to remain quiet if you're in here, okay? Let the shoulders relax. Let the back settle. Stretch the arms out from your shoulders. Exhale your knees over to the left. Tap into the core. Slide the shoulders into the back. Inhale your knees through the center. Exhale over to the right. Breathe. So our nervous system is the electrical current in our being. Inhale all the way in, and we're going to feel a lot of that electrical current. Our nervous system's being agitated this year, okay? Like they weren't already agitated. So recognizing, inhale through the center. We're going to go to each side one more time. I want you to breathe really fully and connected to that breath, that you're not just moving for movement's sake, but that you're moving to align more of your highest self with your physical self. And so our systems got agitated with 2020. Everybody's waiting for 2021 to just blink and be better. It doesn't work that way. We have to do the work. We have to find new ways. We have to show up, and we need to be patient. So what provides patience? We breathe. We breathe so we can feel it, so we can feel the connection that things are happening just through the simplicity of the breath. We don't go chasing the breath. One more time to each, to the right, or just finish up on the right side. All right, inhale, come back through the center. Once you come to the center, relax your shoulders, your head, your neck, your jaw. Draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. And then once you rock, you're going to either just be here with your hips grounded and your feet elevated. If you're not a shoulder stand person, I recommend this. Otherwise, you're going to find your way into shoulder stand. Crazy of me. So Shivananda of me. Oh, look, I cannot do plow pose right now. Okay, so knees are going to bend. Hands are at my lower back. So we're not in the full masculine expression of this feminine pose. We're actually in an easeful acknowledgement. Hands are to the low back. Hips are leaning in. Throat's open. Knees are bent. And we're just now in a full inversion. We are intentionally turning it upside down. So even if your hips are on the ground and your feet are up in the air, you are in an inversion. 5 breaths here. Breathe so deeply you feel it, the breath, the blood reaching into your feet. You know you feel it in your head. You do not have to be doing shoulder stand. It is not required. You hold authority. You choose how you want to engage. Just breathe so deeply you feel it wherever you are. Feel the breath coming alive. Your potential, the evidence that we're accumulating, that we can find our way in the most challenging of times, that are unbelievable, that we can breathe and be with our feet up in the air and our head on the ground. And in that vulnerability, as volatile as it may be, we can find our way. Slowly come out of shoulder stand, knees to your chest, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll all the way down. If your feet were just elevated, bend your knees, bring the feet to the earth. You're going to inhale your hips up, shoulders into the back, into bridge pose. Throat's open, no weight on the spinal cord. Not a single bone of the spine is touching the earth. Ease into what you need today. Maybe you need a block under your hips. Hug into that midline. Feel the structure of you. And then lead with your inner thighs. Bring the hips to the ground. Relax the shoulders, soften the heart.
I'm just going to wait.
And as you soften, stretch the arms out from the shoulders again, right ankle to the left thigh. And then pick your left foot up. Relax your jaw. Ease off through the neck, through the jaw. Make sure there's a clear flow of energy from your feet to your head.
Mommy, can you watch something on the big TV? On the real TV?
Yes, but make sure you hit pause. Do you know how to do that on my computer? And then bring your foot down to the earth. Stretch your right leg up to the sky and just flex and point. Okay, now as you're flexing and pointing, I want you to synchronize with the breath. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Now, if you're really breathing, you realize your movement has to be slow. It's so basic, but it's so powerful. Bend the right knee, hands around the eye of the knee. Stretch your left leg long. Hold on to the knee, shoulders into your back. Now create the muscular engagement. Hold your system. Left leg is grounded. Hands are onto the knee. You're pushing your knee forward as your hands are pulling back. Draw into the core. Now notice how when you're tight and tense, your breath is more restricted. So you don't tighten up and go chasing and taking a breath. You actually ease up and lean into the challenge and allow for the breath to guide you. And then exhale out completely. Stretch the right leg straight up. Hello, hamstrings, especially if you did that very earth-like class on Tuesday. Your hamstrings are talking because we grounded more into our physical structure. Exhale the foot to the earth. You're going to twist. You can hold on to the right knee, twist to the left. Right shoulder stays grounded. Look. Breathe. Look to the right. Breathe into the belly, but keep the core. Keep the hips. Allow the heart to remain open. Breathe so you feel the breath into the ribs. You feel the rib cage expanding. And then inhale, come through the center, half happy baby. So it's even like left leg's extended, Right knee's bent. You can hold on to your knee like I am, or you can hold on to the foot. Just keep the hips on the ground, shoulders and head. Don't unplug to make something happen. Stay connected, stay centered. It's hard, you all. It is so hard to stay centered, but it's easier than trying to find balance. Sorry, Teresa humor right there. Inhale, come through the center. Both knees come into the chest. Just a gentle hug. Find the moment to reset. Right foot comes to the ground, left ankle to the thigh. Arms stretch wide. Inhale the right foot up. Breathe. Use your feel the breath into the sideline of the body to really expand the inner horizon of you. That you open and you're holding space. You're actually making space for the breath. And I begin on the ground when our systems are highly agitated. Wildly enough, when I first started teaching virtually and online, we had to move a lot. Now we're all kind of a bit exhausted. So bring the right foot down, stretch the left leg up. Sorry, I left this out, so we'll do it now. Flex as you exhale, inhale, point. Right, flex and point. And here's the deal, when you actually lean into the breath more, you follow the current. You align more fully with the flow of energy rather than trying to perfect the structure and make it appear seamless, right? Because what it is that you're actually more in tune with the energetic flow. All right, so now bend the left knee, hold on to the knee, glide the right leg out long. You've got to tilt your pelvis enough so that the pubic bone descends, and then hug your hips in. Right leg is dense, heavy, and grounded. Shoulders drawn to the back. Hold on to your knee, push the knee away, hug it back in. And by getting our head into the earth, getting our whole body into the earth, we're supporting our system before we ask ourselves to go further. Right? We're helping to release the agitation of our systems, of our being, that are being pushed into a human experience like one that has yet to ever be experienced before. Why? Because the entire planet is going through it. And the entire planet can connect to humans across the globe instantaneously. So wherever you are watching this, tell me, let me know, because not everybody's in Kentucky. So here we are, and this further, deeper expression of stretching the leg up, grounding the thigh down, feeling that hamstring, not pushing and trying to overachieve, but actually easing up and integrating, letting the thigh bones settle in so the nervous system feels our awareness turn back in, and that's how we know we're breathing and there's potential that we can rise even in this tension, right? We've done it so many times in our practice of yoga that we know this tension is good for us, so we can be more intentional. Exhale, bend the knee. Half happy baby, knee opens out to the side. Stretch the foot out. So this is my version. This side really is not interested in doing it. So I'm going to modify even more. I'm going to bring my hand to my thigh, knees bent, shoulders to the back. I'm not trying to make the two sides look like each other, but I'm orienting to the internal experience so I can remain centered, connected. The two sides are going to appear differently. So I'm not going to make the right side do what the left side needs, and I'm not going to make the left side push the right side to do it its way. It's really a place of respect of how the two sides of the body need to engage so that you can meet in the middle and be true and respectful and honorable. And then exhale, bend the knee, draw both knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. So you can either start rocking up, forward, and backward, right? If that feels good. It does not feel good to me, so I'm just going to come all the way up. If you want to rock a few times, forward and backward, go for it. This just makes me shudder right now. But once you come up, you're going to come onto your sit bones. You're gonna hug your arms around your legs as much as you can. Let the feet hang down, shoulders drawn to the back, and come upright. Now our feet still haven't touched the ground, okay? Our feet are still elevated. Pull into the core, shoulders to the back. We're just holding ourselves. So we're in a bit of a forward bend without asking the legs to overdo it. Breathe into the belly, because your belly is going to get in the way of your legs. I don't care how big your belly is. I don't care how big your thighs are. I don't care. What I care about is that you're breathing. That you can feel your chest lifting up because you're closed off. That you're in this kind of in-between space and feeling the desire of just wanting to put your feet on the ground, wanting to be normal again. You can cross through. We have Peppa Pig entertaining my children at the moment. Lean forward, feet come to the earth. You're going to open your feet up, hands to your ankles. Holy moly, my body is like, no thank you. So, this is too much for me. My kids have taken my blocks. I need two, but I only have one. They're not hearing me. So anyhow, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana, rock from hip to hip. I want us to feel our hips on the ground, okay? And as we rock from hip to hip, what I'm doing is I'm rocking sit bone by sit bone back, and that's too far back, so I'm just kind of tuning in to where can I find the comfort. I don't know that I'll find comfort here. So I can be aware of that, right? There's poses that we all experience that aren't our preferred expressions of yoga, but we know the benefits of it. So in that benefit of clearing through, like swimming through the spew, swimming through the darkness, to welcome in, the Sanskrit word is soma, to welcome in the nectar, to bow into it in a way. So your feet, by the way, may be really close. Your Baddha Konasana may not look like mine. I have long legs. I have lots of anomalies. So find the one that works for you, and then we're going to fold forward and relax the head, the neck, the jaw, and just breathe into the back body. You breathe into the back body by allowing the breath to move there. Think of the back body. Receive the breath, and your intention will direct the breath there. Don't get caught up in if you're doing it or not. Sense it, feel it. Exhale out, completely ground into the earth, lengthen the spine, and inhale, come all the way up. You can both fit in that chair, by the way.
No,
You're going to sweep your feet over. We're going to go into pigeon pose. If you use two hands, Evan, two hands, put the headphone down, use two hands. Get in the chair with two hands. And then Vivian, you can have Vivian sit in your lap. Come into pigeon.
Vivian, come on.
Right leg goes back, hug in. We're going to bend the left knee. You may just stay here. So this will be the first space. Draw in. You can lean in, bring your foot here. I'm not going for this crazy Ekapada Rajakapatasana. I am going for a thigh stretch and a hip opener to feel the tension that sits in your thigh. And if you do thigh stretches all the time, then you've got to find new ways of doing it so you don't get stuck into the pattern, the expectation, and the judgment of the success of your practice. You actually continue to use the practice to remain disciplined in your connection to you. And then exhale, free the foot. We're not going into downward dog, okay? You're going to inch. We are not going into downward dog. I'll say that again. You're going to inch your left knee in, glide the right foot back, pivot the heel to the earth. We're going to go into side table, okay? Adjust your left knee accordingly. Widen the left foot out, plant into the left hand, bend the knee, okay? And as you bend the knee, your hips are pulling back. Get your right foot so heavy. Get your left hand so grounded. Pull into the core. Hug into that center line. Draw the shoulders into the back. If you need to heel toe that right foot in, heel toe it in. Make sure you feel connected to your foundation.
Then come to the foundation of your core. Rock. So it's almost like your trochanters are pulling into your navel. Your ribs are pulling towards your navel. The back waistline is wrapping around to the front. The shoulders go into the back. The throat opens and breathe here. Stretch the arm by your ear. Don't be so all funked up in your arm, but let it just be drapey. If it needs to hang down in front of you and then sweep, great. Deep breath in. Breathe so deeply you feel it. You feel it all the way into your feet and into your toes. You feel the effort it takes to hold you up and the ease of the stretch, even though it's powerful and intense. And then exhale a hand to the ground. Both knees to the earth. Find your hands. Exhale, round the back, chin to your chest. Inhale, open your heart. So in all the yoga classes I felt, I never forget, people are like, can you just teach feel-good yoga? This is a feel-good yoga class. Inhale, open the heart. But what happens is that I watched this pattern. We want feel-good yoga when life is really hard. And so that's great. We want to get to the reminder, but realize, like as we're just cat-cowing here, the application of the yoga requires discipline. That's that signature of earth energy. We have to feel the physical body, the material essence of our soul, which is skin and bones and everything in between. And then inhale, open the heart. Bring your left knee forward, right leg goes back. We're going to lean forward. Here we are, pigeon. Draw into the core. You're going to bend your right knee. And then as you bend your right knee, you're going to hold on to your right foot. So funny. I'm so fidgety, like getting everything to feel just right, even when I practice. But now all that fidget and agitation is being demonstrated as I record myself doing a practice as I teach you. So maybe you don't find the foot. There's no upright drawing in. There's none of that right now. Okay? There's a leaning forward. There's just a connection to the density of our quads. Lifting into the belly, ease through the neck. Breathe so deep that you feel it. You feel your lungs expanding. You're opening up new capillaries to help the oxygen flow through the body, to circulate. And then exhale, free the foot. Inch the right knee in. You're going to glide the left leg back. Widen the right foot. Then pivot the heel to the floor. Get the whole foot to the ground. Adjust hands, feet, everything that's necessary. And then bend. Why do we do this bend? It actually helps our thighs get further back. It helps us connect to the core. It may not feel like the best thing for you if you externally rotate more.
Sorry.
And then you draw in.
No, that comes off. I didn't want that.
And then as you draw in, push into the earth, shoulders draw into the back. And as you draw the shoulders into the back, hug in. And this arm, so I see so many people do this weird, what do? Their elbow goes up and their arm stretches. That's going to create so much tension through here, okay? When you do this, there should be zero tension here. I'm not a big Anna Forrest person, except for this teaching she gave me. Ease up through here. Why? Because if we're all tense here, we can't get the breath. We can't get the vagus nerve, right? To our core, to carry that transmission between our gut and our minds. So it becomes more control. So the outer elbow crease moves towards the front. Breathe into the deliciousness. To my friends that don't like food descriptions of yoga, but it's our senses. And in that sensation, that's all earth energy, that pleasure of being here. And when we sit in challenging moments, it seems like the pleasure is absent, but it just gives the contrast. All right, exhale, hand down, knee down, both knees to the ground. So we feel good because we do the work, not because we just deny the challenge and call on positivity. No, that doesn't work, right? We actually want to acknowledge the hardship. We want to acknowledge the darkness. We want to befriend the areas of ourselves that continue to separate us. 2 more times. Exhale. Really pull into the belly. Now, if you like to inhale here and exhale this way, go for it. It's just that, to me, is odd. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just counter. You don't want to be pulling the belly into the spine when you're inhaling in. And then inhale, come into a nice neutral spine. You're going to come all the way down to your forearms. Palms turn up, hands come to the midline. And as you're here, hips come over your knees, armpits come over your elbows, soften the area in the shoulders, hug the outer hips in towards the tail, relax the neck and jaw. Stay with your breath here. So your core is engaged, your heart's soft. We're just allowing the density of gravity, the weight that keeps us on the earth, the law of gravity. It's not just a truth, it's a law. Like, it's why we're here. All humans breathe. We all share the breath. We all share gravity. We all share the earth. We're sharing in this connection right here, right now. But your experience is uniquely your own. The opportunity you have in life is equal parts what you do with it and equal parts what's presented to you. And in some moments, what you do with it requires so much digging to find the motivation. And sometimes it's just put right in front of you, but you have to say yes to it. And then exhale. Move all the way back, child's pose. Another forward bend to help the system settle. You're going to inhale. Come up onto your hands. Lean forward. This is going to be hard, by the way. Okay, we're going to move into a little bit of a kriya. We're going to move with the breath. I hope that it's highly accessible, but also trust in your ability to modify, be creative here. Some people are like, oh, I have to go rogue. You're not going rogue. You are just experimenting with it and tuning more deeply into the energy of you. Okay, so here we are. You're going to lean forward. You're going to push your hands to the earth, pull into the core, lift your knees up to your heart, and then come back down. We're going to do that 3 times. So ground down as you exhale, and then inhale. And then exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling 2 more times. This time you're going to exhale and roll over your feet or untuck your feet. Come into a forward bend. Bow, release into it, knees bend, draw into the core, roll the spine up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms go wide, big inhale in. Exhale into the hips, all the way to the ground. Bend the knees 5 times here. Inhale, roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms go wide. So everything we did so far is to help settle the system so we can feel more connected to our center and work with it and engage with it and allow ourselves to breathe so deeply and fully that we feel the meditative flow to sit with that inner stillness. Because to sit with that creative energy, last time, that you can feel that connection. Now here we go. Exhale, hinge the hips, fold all the way forward. You're gonna climb forward into downward dog. Our first one and one of our only ones. Downward dog, hands are as wide as the shoulders, if not wider. Bend the knees, pull in, draw up and back. Now to breathe, we need to open the side body. So we're gonna push through our hands, knees bend, breathe into the left side body. Inhale the hips through the center. Laugh, sorry if that startled you. Bend the knees, breathe into the right side. Go to each side a total of 5 times. You're not just doing the movement randomly, you're letting the breath guide you. And that means if the breath's guiding you, you're moving slow. Otherwise, you're going to hyperventilate, give yourself an anxiety attack. You're going to create more fear. You're going to create more mistrust because you pull your system up and out of the body. And then inhale, come through the center. Knees come to the earth. Keep your toes tucked if you can. Stretch back. Now we're going to add a new flow. Hands go wide. Inhale, come up onto your hands and knees. Exhale, bow down. Untuck the feet, hands go wide. Inhale, gecko cobra. Exhale, bow down. Tuck the toes, hands to the earth. Inhale, lift up. Toes are tucked. I have to adjust my feet. You may not. Reach back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, down. So total of 5. Gecko cobra. You can look to the camera. I really want to be able to breathe here, okay? Allow the breath to lead the way. It does not matter if you do exactly what I'm presenting. What matters is that you're tuning into your body and your breath. You're allowing the mind to truly be a witness, to be able to navigate the flow. I have one more in me. Maybe you have no more in you. We're going to stop, pause on our belly. And then bow all the way to the earth. Hands down, head down. Breathe in. Enjoy the laughter of youth, of innocence.
That black toaster, the only problem is when I toast it, my waffles jump out of it. If I need to laugh.
2 more breaths here. And then inhale, bring your gaze to the center, bend both knees. Reach your hands back, find the feet. Maybe. You may not be able to find the feet. Shoulders drawn to the back. Hug into the midline. Heads released. Yes, we're going to do 5 pulses here. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, soften down. Inhale, so the breath is lifting you. And exhale, bow. Using the breath, so we began more steady. And now we feel more movement. We transition into air next week. This week we're still in the signature of earth, but we have this air transitioning into water in this practice right here, right now. Last time, inhale, rise, stay here, be steady, be able to respond rather than react. And then free your feet, arms stay back behind you. Stretch your legs out long. Hands come under your shoulders, tuck your toes, lift up, move back. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths, being steady if you can. If you need to move, move. Slowly walk your feet forward. Find both feet beneath you and bow. So if you did my most recent practice, that's involved a lot of earth energy. If you've done any of the practices involving earth, you're going to feel the contractive nature, right? And that's what yoga gives us. Like, somebody said to me, gosh, the more I do yoga, the more tight my body feels. And I said, well, that's not true. You've just gotten used to opening your body up, that now you notice the tension because you've had an experience with feeling good, feeling light. They said that was very diplomatic of me, but it's true. If you don't know, you don't know. Heel toe the feet apart, as wide as you need to go or as close as you need to go to keep your heels on the earth. Draw into the belly, come all the way into a squat. Five breaths here. Let your hands relax. Come all the way seated. Hey guys, what's going on?
What?
Why is that chair all the way over there? You're gonna run into things. Please move close. You're gonna knock my stuff over. Please get back in that zone. Thank you. It's kind of funny having them in here. It's real world though, right? All right, from that breath, and if it's triggering you, I highly encourage you to examine what it is about me being real that's bothering you. Because it's not me, it's something inside of you, and that is just the biggest call right now. Look at where that anger or frustration or irritation is coming from. You're gonna come lying all the way down. Yep, all the way down. Just like we began. Feet to the ground, shoulders to the back, inhale, bridge pose. So now we've opened ourselves up more. We haven't done like crazy big shoulder openers because I've had to move away from that because of my flexibility. We've done more steadiness. So it's easy for me to interlace my hands right now. We might not have opened your shoulders up enough for you. So come here to bridge. If you can do bridge and your wrists come to the earth, great. If not, don't force it. Check in with your bridge pose. Adjust the shoulders. I usually walk my shoulders up to my ears and then draw them in. Then I can press through my feet, and when my heart moves up, my shoulders move down. So stay here for those 5 breaths. Maybe it's here, maybe it's on a block. There's no right or wrong. Yoga at home is real yoga, you guys. It's how we learn. Walk your feet over to the right. This may be enough. Throats open, shoulders are to the back. Hips can come to the earth. Mine no longer make it onto the outside of my arm, so I'm actually resting on my right arm. Breathe so deeply you can feel it. If you're just staying in bridge pose, stay centered and just bring your hips down. Notice if you can feel more parts of your being able to receive the breath. That we've unlocked receptivity and trust. And leading with the breath is powerful. Inhale the hips up, walk through the center. And then walk all the way over to the other side. Adjust what needs to be adjusted. Not because you're avoiding the discomfort, but you're allowing for alignment. And again, maybe you lifted up and then you just brought your hips back down. That's totally fine. Meet yourself where you are. Only you know. You're the one who's lived in your skin and bones your whole life. How do you know? You practice. You go inward. You experience. You pay attention days later.
months later, you begin to accumulate evidence of you, and you might even find that you're accumulating evidence that is you betraying you. That you push people away so they can't push you away. So you can give and attract more evidence that your ego was right. But as soon as you come and you collect all those experiences and you realize you're so afraid of being abandoned that you just push people away, and then you can all of a sudden, in a moment, in an instant, recognize that exactly what you're trying to push away is the one thing that's never abandoned you. Inhale your hips, rise up. Walk all the way back to the center. Feel your breath. Feel the blood flow. Free your hands. Arms stretch up over your ears. Heels rise vertebrae by vertebrae. I want you to feel each vertebrae of the spine coming undone. Feeling that articulation, getting into the spots. It's a little bit of a forward bend. Then when you get here, you don't stay here. You allow your tailbone to get heavy all the way to the ground. You bring your heels down. You tilt your pelvis. Feet either go wide and knees come in, or feet come together, knees go wide. I'm going to use one of my bolsters. And once you arrive there, you find the layers and the items that can support you. We're going to start, yes, we're going straight to Shavasana. I also love it that in all the different times I've taught, classes like this, where we're really steady and present with the breath, are the classes where people say, wow, that went so fast. Why? Because you were so present. It's really wild. And even though it seems simple, it speeds by because you're engaged. You're not aloof and outside of your body waiting for evidence of something happening. You've gone inward. You've gotten comfortable in the discomfort of the unknown. You've leaned in and you've cared for yourself. That's leadership.
Oh.
So I'm sure my children will probably talk as we come to this final relaxation. So just realize that's life. Your life is full of distractions. How can you come back inward to your breath? With your hands on your belly, I actually have really, really amazing children. They're very good, but they're still children.
He got the new profile while I was doing school.
So breathe into your belly. Hey, Evan, you're just going to listen or you're going to leave the room, okay? Breathe into your belly. I want you to inhale all the way in and just allow for the expansion of the belly and watch and witness how the breath keeps moving in. And then you get to the point where you have to release. So let the belly just fall and notice how the breath leaves. And then expand the belly again. Like you can't let your belly expand and the breath not come in. That's why you're not taking it, you're receiving it. You're working with it, you're co-creating. You're using the energy of you to expand your awareness. And then exhaling, let the belly release and the breath will go out. There's a wisdom to your physical body that is beyond the mind's comprehension. So we have to allow the mind to be a witness. And what I just witnessed is because I'm talking and I'm trying to breathe and pause to breathe, my rib cage needed to expand. So just follow that wisdom. And then you can stay with that breath for as long as you want. But you also want to give your tongue a chance to just let the legs extend, the arms to relax. And just let the breath dance freely. Don't try to control the breath right now. When people are in Shavasana doing Ujjayi breath and I can hear them breathing, it's a sign that they need to control the situation so immensely that they can't surrender and just allow the breath to be. So I know there are some traditions of yoga that encourage you to be in control the whole time, but not this, not when we're practicing embodiment, because we have to trust in the ability to surrender completely, to relax, and be conscious of that ability to find ease and be okay. Just as you are. Allow for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Be aware of how the breath is ready to re-expand. You might even find there's a little, this is part of the assimilation of our systems. Notice what you notice. What's sitting beneath the surface? We all hold wounds, we all hold pain. But in this moment, feel the reaffirmation, the clarity, the connection to your breath, to being alive. To being present to your own beating heart. And then allow that movement to come not from your mind's antsiness to get going, but from your body's ability to say, hey, I need this movement and this movement. And once you're there, bend your knees, find both feet on the ground, and just pause. Feel the heaviness of the body. This is what I'm talking about. There's a density that we can get comfortable with, and because we can still feel the sensation of how much life is pulsating through us. And this is just so important to remember right now. Draw your knees into your chest. Why? Because we just oxygenated our system in a very simple way. Knees into your chest and then roll over to one side. And stay there as long as you want. And then slowly come up seated. And once you find that seat, feel how much more cool the body is. When the body, there's different reasons, but in this moment, it's because we're out of that fight flight. We're in that rest and restore. Okay, and realign, Lily. So come into that seat, sit well. Let one hand come to your heart, one hand touching the earth. We're gonna just pause and breathe here for a moment. And pause and breathe. And notice how you don't have to breathe so deeply now so that you can feel it, that you're able to actually feel so tuned into this inner world. That is not dark at all. That yes, it can be so scary to close our eyes. Yes, it can be condemned by other people to practice in this way. But here's the deal, the divine sits within you. And when you close your eyes, you listen. And when you listen, then you can articulate more fully the prayer of the heart. So you're not alone. And notice how, as you said, it's not dark at all. Your inner world is illuminated. The breath is more expansive. Our system is both settled and alive. We feel ourselves sitting on the threshold of what was before we came to our mat, before we practiced, before we stepped inward and moved our bodies to engage, where we could breathe so deeply, we felt the pulse of life in our own cellular makeup, our constitution. We find that in the chaos of the day, we paused and went inward to the void, to the unknown. Although we know when we get on our mat, it's usually never a bad idea. That we slow down and we're patient with ourselves. You're patient with me, patient with the children, patient with the energy in your own home, patient with growth and development. And in that patience, we find the fertility of the darkness. One more breath. In this inner realm, where we break ground, where we shatter the ego and allow the pieces that have fragmented to be held by the light of the soul, the light of our spirit, the light of our highest self. Bring both hands to rest on the heart. It's so healing for the nervous system to have the hands on the heart. Breathe into that light that you're receiving through the breath, and it's expanding back into your own two hands. Bring the hands into together in front of your heart, your throat, or your third eye, the center of the forehead. Bow deeply to your highest self that she or he guided you to this moment. That you feel more connected to the unseen energy of yourself, that you can trust in the unknown and know it more fully as the manifestation of you. And that manifestation of you is the same as the manifestation of me. It just looks differently. But that we can understand the common ground, the foundation of each of our lives. And we can rebuild that by saying hello to the goodness of our own heart, saying hello to the goodness that's calling us forward, saying hello to the commonality of the light in me and the light in you. And so we say hello to what is and what shall be. Namaste. I thank you deeply. Your presence matters, not just to me, but to everybody in your life.
your bravery in being able to get onto your mat in this new realm of yoga. But think about it, yoga is very different than it was thousands of years ago. So we continue to evolve. We continue to feel the strength of the practice carrying us and guiding us forward. And that courage of your heart feels more comfortable in your own skin and bones, that you've illuminated the inner world that appears dark and welcomed in the breath, the sacred spark, to help guide you through the confusion. And so I encourage you to continue to sit, to continue to breathe through your day, all of your days, so deeply that you can feel it, that you can feel the breath penetrating so that you don't feel alone, that you can feel this invisible, the breath, we can't see it, we can only feel it. And to me, it's just such great evidence of the divine. It's the evidence of how we can still live and be here for this moment in time. So whether you're watching live, you're watching the replay, if you're in the Mindful You Facebook group, if you're watching on YouTube, however this finds you, I hope that you can take what serves you and leave the rest behind. Love offerings and comments, tell me where you are, engaging in dialogue mean the world to me right now. Resources to help me improve my ability to offer teachings of wisdom that have come through me are also welcomed and received, and actually are in this ability to then be regenerated into the ability to continue my education, because I will always learn. I am curious about life. It's probably what's kept me alive. And in that curiosity, I sat last night with somebody that her teachings I've been studying with, and I was able to sit, obviously, through virtual space with Deborah Silverman, and we're talking about the darkness and sharing some of the things, and it was really powerful that the transmission, it was the first time I've really experienced the direct transmission of her. It felt like it was just her and I sitting in the room, and she was speaking to me, but she was also speaking to the universal energy that we all experience from time to time. And in that, it was just a powerful transmission that gave me hope that we can really use this technology in a way for the greater good, that we don't get caught up in the dialogues of censorship, we don't get caught up in who's listening, because here's the truth, my friends, all of your guides, all of your ancestors, all that is unseen is listening and watching every moment of you. So let go of that idea of you're being watched, because guess what? You've been watched your entire life. We're never alone. So I thank you for taking what serves you and leaving the rest behind and using this for the highest good. So I will continue to find my way, even with my kids. This is the dance of life, and I'd rather show up with the inconvenience of interruption than wait until it's just right. Thank you. Mwah! I appreciate you guys so much.